Psychologists in Australia view psychedelic-assisted therapy as a transformative tool with the potential to facilitate deep psychological insights and emotional breakthroughs for patients with chronic mental health conditions. Australian psychologists' attitudes towards psychedelic-assisted therapy and training following a world-first drug down scheduling, well, listen to that, has been published in Drug and Alcohol Review. Researchers interviewed 20 psychologists from across Australia, and most said psychedelic-assisted therapists would benefit from a psychedelic experience as part of their professional training. Training programs which prepare professionals to navigate the complexities of PAT were limited in Australia, and there was demand to equip psychologists with knowledge and training to deliver these therapies responsibly and effectively. Lead researcher with the School of Applied Psychology, PhD candidate Jordan Nagreen, said participants showed both enthusiasm and caution about the perceived therapeutic potential of PAT. Psychologists in the study exhibited limited awareness of the implementation processes of PAT in Australia, especially related to the prescription and delivery procedure. During the psychedelic experience, clinical outcomes would depend on an individual's psychological state and internal environment, and the factors degree of unpredictability, making access to professional support and treatment vital. The research shows most psychologists believe endorsement by credible institutions, comprehensive education, training programs would remove the barriers to safe delivery of PAT practice. Many participants advocated for the specialist training, which expands beyond coursework, with an option to undergo supervised psychedelic exposure, as part of the training. Participants proposed PAT had the capacity to alleviate pressure on the mental health system through facilitating a reduction in psychological barriers to treatment and addressing underlying causes of psychological distress. Psychologists also noted that under the right conditions, treatment was non-addictive, safe to use, more effective than current psychiatric pharmacotherapies, was associated with fewer instances of aggression, I need that, and imposed fewer physical and mental side effects. My takeaway from this article is multiple. Number one, there's been an underground group of psychologists, primarily headquartered out of Northern California, that has been using MDMA and other psychedelics for well over 50 years to great success. Regardless of the failure, hopefully temporarily only, of Rick Doblin, MAPS, and Lycos, and their inability to steward their trials to create an ethical and transparent result, we are seeing is that therapies have high level of efficacy when we put the lens of science. Also, what I'd like to point out is if we look at Australia, just like Portugal, just like the Netherlands, these countries have drug use of all kinds, including opioids, that is precipitously dropping off a cliff. And the reason is drug down scheduling and education. We're actually creating a canon of peer-reviewed statistical scientific evidence longitudinally that shows educate people, they make better choices. Take it away, guys.
Man, this came out of Australia, Matthew St. Germain?
Came out of Australia, where instead of murdering drug dealers, they decided to deschedule drugs so that they could educate and further save their populace.
They did not deschedule drugs in Australia. They have camps for people and lock them up in there.
And Portugal is that they have a national health system, and what they're trying to do with their national health system is find ways to save the country money, save money on health. And so they get past Puritanism and jingoism to what strategies actually save money, help their populace.
Well, speaking of stopping and frisking my down under.
Oh, boy.
I do.
He's got a Joey. He's got a Joey today.
I got a marsupial, and it's got your name on it. So, I think there was something that, for me, that stood out about this article, which is it said that psychologists who are going to be helping people through psychedelic-assisted therapy should have taken the psychedelic themselves and should have also gone through the protocol, procedure, paradigm, process that they are then guiding patients in. And there's a part of that that just seems really like common sense to me. Like if you were running a Michelin star restaurant and you didn't taste the food coming out of your kitchen, that would be concerning. I think if you're a psychiatrist, and you are leading psychedelic-assisted therapy and have never taken psychedelics, that would also be concerning. How can you be a guide if you haven't gone someplace, right? So that's an interesting thing because I think that that's new to medicine. We don't say that the doctor who prescribes opiates during a surgery has to have taken opiates themselves. So one of the biggest takeaways for me in this article was this idea that they're tethering, part of the qualifications to the idea that those people have tried it themselves in the exact procedure that they're going to be doing with their patient. I thought that was interesting.
Interesting. Oh, look at, there she is. Look at Jenny Beth Dill. She decided to make it today.
We had a little technical difficulty with my bridge, and I'm not coming in toothless for nobody, but I do love you, Jason.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, come on. Stop it. Last night you were toothless, and I didn't hear any complaints.
I wasn't with you last night.
She heard a little whistle while you work, huh, Yarrow?
Anyway.
Well, shout out to the Cole Memo with another super chat who says Jason Beck voted for Joe Biden this year. There's not a chance in hell I would ever vote for Joe Biden. Cole Memo, that's cute, and I'm glad that you think that is funny. But I would never vote for Joe Biden.
It's funny. It's funny.
Never in a million years would I vote for that guy.
Fucking hilarious.
But and I don't believe that that there was 14 other million Americans that voted for him either. All of a sudden, that was all total bullshit too, because
they all had their bridges out.
Exactly. Now they're all on milk cartons. People are looking for him.
None of them had an ID when they voted.
They didn't. I mean, most of them were dead. Just saying.
Biden was like, "Well, it takes one to know one. I'm there also." The whole cemetery crew.
That is pretty funny.
Man.
That is pretty funny.
Well, yeah, his friends voted for him. Okay.
I can't believe that that you think, Matthew St. Germain, that Australia's drug policies are better than the U.S.'s.
Well, they do have some that are better, including some cannabis policies.
Thanks, Yarrow. What we're seeing, Jason, is it's not about. Here's the difference between you and I. Not about belief and me checking in with what my daddy Trump says so I know what to say and believe. What I do is I look at the statistics and the peer-reviewed science coming out of Australia. And what the statistics and the peer-reviewed science is showing, Brother Jason, is a drop in incarceration and a drop in drug use, a higher level of societal calm, and the fact that, number one, psychedelics work, and number two, your populace will do less drugs. They are, in fact, educated about what those drugs do. But I don't have to believe anything because what I do is I actually know how to read.
Oh, I know how to
read too. I'm pretty sure, and I don't think that Daddy Trump gave him any advice on what to say about Australia.
That's true.
I feel like Jason would have called me immediately.
Jenny, you missed Rico's story. Remember when you said stop and frisk wasn't going to happen? It was a talking point.
Oh, God.
Do you remember when I said that you just kind of get on this grandstanding thing and it started to become like you're like a bully?
Right. So that's called a deflection. Right. So we can.
So what did Rico's story say? Let's go.
Rico was ultimate gaslighter. You should have been here for all that. We're not going into all that. We're going to go